Welcome to OnPoint. I'm Andy Martins. Thank you for being here for another edition of OnPoint. We've got a sizzling amount of shows for you this month, and we begin it with Donna Hilsinger, Ward 3 Councillor, right after these messages.
He fell.
Whoa, I'm not driving. I'm way too stoned. How are you feeling, Veer?
Oh, since we had that talk, I'm not driving tonight at all.
What about you, Dave?
You only had a couple of drinks.
And only a couple of puffs.
I don't drink and drive. No way I'm getting behind the wheel when I smoked weed, too.
How are we getting home, then?
Oh, you can drive, Dave.
Come on, Dave.
Take one for the team, buddy.
Don't let weed and alcohol influence your decision to drive.
Yeah, I need a ride.
I am a mother, and I am a sister.
I'm a father.
A wife, a daughter. I'm Somali lady.
I can very proudly say that
I'm a teacher.
A social worker.
I'm a human being.
I have a dream
To be free.
and I wish we live in the world full of peace.
Adoptions create families. Are you thinking of adopting a child from an orphanage or your family in India, Bangladesh, Jamaica, Guyana, or any other country? Let Worldview Adoption, a government-licensed agency with 15 years of experience, help. Parmjeet Mongat and Associates are experienced in handling all adoptions cases, especially relative adoptions with complex immigration issues. For a relative or orphan adoption, domestic or international, call Worldview Adoption for a consultation today.
Every kid knows the power of a wish. That's why I'm here for Make-A-Wish, to help you find money you can donate. All dads have change in their pockets, and all you need to get it is a rope, an umbrella, and 3 friends in grade 8. He's like a piñata of money. If I can find ways to raise money to grant a kid's wish, you can too.
Welcome back to OnPoint. I'm Andy Martins. Super excited about a new month, sizzling in September, and I can't think of a better way to start it out than Ward 3 Councillor Donna Hilsinger. Thank you, Donna, for making time for coming on the show today.
Good morning, Andy. Thanks for inviting me.
No problem. You and I have done this a few times this year, and it's great to have you back. Almost a year into the new term on council, how have things gone in the last year? Is it, because it's a new job, and I think all the new councillors are getting into the groove at this point.
Yes, I think we are getting into the groove. I know that I certainly am. I think things have gone well. I'm very excited about a couple of things that have happened, both things that I've been promoting and supportive of, and some of our other councillors as well. You know, there's been a big push on council this term for improving property standards, and I'm very excited about that, and very excited to see that the community will improve its property standards, and a new bylaw officer was put in place, and so things are changing there, and will continue to change. Personally, I've been a really big advocate of complete streets, and of converting our thinking in transportation to not having a roads budget but having a transportation budget, and equally valuing all forms of transportation. And I had a motion that was overwhelmingly supported by my co-councillors and the mayor, that will really truly now integrate all of our plans, our active transportation plans, cycling master plan, our roads plans, our transit plans, and so on, and bring those together so that we can truly start building complete streets in Sault Ste. Marie. So that's one really big thing that I was able to accomplish with the support of my fellow colleagues.
Yeah, that was a great resolution for sure, because it improves the way we do things in the city. It doesn't not. It's everybody wins with that.
Absolutely, and we have to understand that if we want to grow as a community, and that's the only way we're going to survive, is if we have growth. That's how any business survives. That's how this community is going to survive, if we have growth. You know, we have to prioritize the things that are important to the people who are living here today, but also to the people who don't live here now. And you know, so many people, young people. I know my kids, you know, don't have a car, and a lot of other people, they're just not making those investments in their life, and they need alternative ways to get around. So whether that's by public transit or by walking or cycling, you know, whatever that may be, those are the ways that we're going to be a community that people want to come to, because we have the amenities and we share those values that are important to them. So it's an exciting future, I think.
Exactly, and one step at a time. You combine that with Future Sault Ste. Marie. We are really moving in the last year as a community.
Yes, we are. I was part of the Future Sault Ste. Marie working group prior to being elected, and certainly, you know, quite a number of people invested a lot of time and energy and thinking into what do we need to do to grow. And you know, we have a goal in Future Sault Ste. Marie, which is to have 100,000 people by 2037. We have a lot of work to do to make that happen, but at least we have a plan now, and we have, you know, great things happening that weren't happening before. There's so much going on at Elgin University and Sault College, and their student populations are growing. There's a lot going on in social services in Sault Ste. Marie, where we're doing innovative things that's led by the DSAB. There's a lot of stuff that's happening, and we got to work that plan and continue to invest.
Exactly, and bringing those property values is a piece in that, because that benefits everybody. The property values of everybody rises as a result of that.
Absolutely. That's how when we increase assessment overall, or assessed values, I should say, overall, that's how we'll have more money as a community to invest in infrastructure and community services and other things.
Right. Donna, what's the biggest challenge for you in 2019 as such? Can you think of anything that's really challenged you this year?
Well, learning how to get things done. That's been I don't know if it's a challenge necessarily, but that's been something that I've had to, you know, as you said, our new councillors are getting their groove in, if you will, or whatever. Right. You know, it has taken me some time to learn about the structure within the city, meet the leadership and the staff, understand how things work, understand who I need to speak to about, you know, various different matters, how I resolve things on behalf of my constituents and my residents. You know, that's part of our role, and how do we you know, who do we talk to and how do we get things done to address people's concerns, and also to share their ideas, because we don't just get people calling with concerns, we get people calling with ideas. And so for both those things, you know, they can't stop at me. We have to move them forward and get them into the system and make things happen.
Right, and how you balance those together as such.
Yes. I'm looking forward to the budget input session, actually talking about that, upcoming on October 3rd. This community's never done anything like this, and you know, as it's coming to budget time, and so it's an open invitation to anyone in the community to come to the Bushplane Museum. All of the city staff and departments will be represented there. The mayor will have a few things to say, along with the CAO. All of the councillors, and I'm sure all of the councillors are making plans to be able to attend, and so that we can hear from the community about what's important to them in terms of how we spend our money, actually their money, how we spend their money, and you know, to make a place that they're happy with. So it's exciting to be able to do that in a public forum that way, where anyone who wants to come and share those thoughts can do that.
It really is, and the mayor will be on the show in a couple of weeks, but that is one night at the Bushplane that everybody will want to put on their calendar.
Absolutely.
As such. Let's move on to this, Donna. Do you think the media is overplaying the fact that we're the third highest taxed region in Ontario. This isn't really necessary to be as negative as what I've heard from the media and other sources around here.
I can't say that I've heard a lot of negativity about it. I mean, it is what it is. I think that, you know, we're comparable with the other communities in Northern Ontario. From my recollection, Thunder Bay is a little bit higher than we are, and you know, we're not Toronto. We're not a city of 2.5 million or 3 million people, and we don't have the volume to be able to manage tax rates at a lower basis. But that being said, you know, we like many other communities, we have to figure out how to do more with less, how to invest in technology, you know, perhaps as one idea that could help us reduce our costs in certain ways, you know, and give more value for money. But getting more people here and expanding the assessment and expanding the values, that's what's really going to help us, and that's what I think we have to focus on.
Exactly, and you know, the thing is that you're exactly right. We're not Toronto. We don't have the tax base to be up in the top 10 because it's just, you just can't create that. Either you have it or you don't.
Absolutely. It's true. I think, as I said, we have to focus on doing more with less. We have to focus on giving good value to our residents, and using their money wisely and making strategic investments that help us build a community, you know, of the future, a community that we want going forward.
Right. That's right. AMO, I just wanted to get your thoughts on AMO as such. It was recently in Ottawa. 3 councillors went from Sault Ste. Marie. What are your thoughts on AMO as such in general?
I think it's a fantastic organization. You know, they're working on behalf of the municipalities in Ontario, developing policy, you know, advocating for certain things. 3 of our councillors plus our CAO were there, and from what I understand, I heard a brief report on it, but I think we'll hear some more. From what I understand, it was great. They learned a lot. They're bringing that back to the entire group, and they had an opportunity to speak to many people, including some from the province, you know, talking about some of the relevant issues around that right now. So I think it was a good investment to make.
I think all the municipalities are concerned with this provincial government as such that they're going to download in 2020, and all the uncertainty. You remember when the mayor was quite rightly concerned with the grant, and the province needs to make decisions that are solid and not maybe leave guesswork there, because you know, we want to set our budgets earlier than we have, be proactive, and we don't need the province to waffle back and say, oh no, we can't give you that much, we'll have to give you this much.
Yes, I mean, you know, I think everybody's just looking, everybody being mayor and council and city staff as well, we're just looking for clarity. We're just looking to know, you know, what is it, what's it going to be, let's be fair, let's be reasonable, let's give time to address some of these challenges, but make sure that we have all the information, and we're looking forward to, you know, to having that information so that we can be using that in such a way that we can be making the right decisions and the smart decisions when it comes time to approving a budget.
Right. The viewers need to understand the budget probably will be starting before the end of this year. So we really need to take the guesswork out of this process.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Let's move on to this question. The Cara community is trying to expand, is what I've heard. And I've also heard that this church may be torn down at Great Northern and Northern Avenue. The concern is the possibility of that happening. What have you heard in terms of the Cara community wanting to expand what they already have?
That's really all I've heard, Andy. I have heard that they do have some plans to expand their availability of housing, and you know, I've heard that through informal, I guess if you will, channels. Obviously, you know, that's one place to go, right? In terms of adding to their footprint. You know, they're a very valuable source of affordable housing, and an important part of the social services here in Sault Ste. Marie. But other than that, I don't know too much more, but
okay.
it's obviously
Okay.
something I gotta get to learn a little more about.
No problem. Donna, stay right there. We'll take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back after these commercial messages.
Thanks.
At 4:45, discover all kinds of treasures and never pay more than $5. Inventory is restocked every Saturday, and you can find anything from electronics to household items, toys, and much, much more. On Saturday, everything is $5, and the price goes down throughout the week, ending with 25 cents on Friday. We restock weekly with new items from various big box stores, so you never know what treasures you can find. Come visit us at 4:45, 2510 Ashman Street in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan.
Have a great business idea but don't know where to start? Need help taking your business to the next level? C2C Business Services can be your guide in navigating the path of entrepreneurship, with services ranging from grant funding support, access to service experts, market information, and helping your business adopt new technologies to create and foster a culture of innovation for ongoing success. Call C2C Business Services and let them be your first step in taking your entrepreneurial dreams from concept to commerce. C2C Business Services is a division of the Sault Ste. Marie Innovation Center.
Stopping at nothing, I'm up in your face, shaking it off, no matter the cost. I'm feeling the wind, I'm taking it all. I'm paving the way with the sweat and the blood. I'm at the top, rising above. I want the gold, give me the rush. Queen Midas, I got the touch. I'm pushing, I'm pushing, I'm pushing. 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 I'm pushing, I'm pushing, I'm pushing.
Welcome back to OnPoint. I'm Andy Martins. We're having a great chat with Ward 3 Councillor Donna Hilsinger. Donna, it's a thrill that you're here. It's wonderful. Let's continue with the show. What are your goals for 2020 as a councillor? Have you, and Councillor Shoemaker as well, because you guys work so well together as a team.
We're going to be working on in the fall. Mayor and council are going to be working on updating our strategic plan, and that'll form. I have a number of ideas that I want to contribute to those thoughts, and how, as a group of people, we can move an agenda forward over the next year and over our term. As I've already said, growth is really important, and we need to stay focused on how we achieve that, and what's the role that the municipality needs to play in that. But in particular, in over the next year in 2020, one of the things that came out of the Future Sault Ste. Marie plan, and I was really an advocate for, is that we would actually create a cultural plan for the city. And that plan has been undertaken over the last 6 months or so. And that plan will come to council. And I'm looking forward to getting council's input and hopefully having that approved. But behind that cultural plan is a way that we can, as a community, we don't invest at this point. We don't invest anywhere near the funds per resident that other communities invest in culture, and we need to look at ways that we can up our investment. And what that's going to do is a couple of things. It's going to help on the social side. The arts, music, drama, all of the arts, visual arts, they are really important to young people. They're important to people in general, and they're really good for our community. So from the social side, it's important, but also from the economic development side. I mean, we have incredible people working in the arts, and we have incredible space here for people to come and locate in Sault Ste. Marie who want to work in the arts. And that's from the residential side, but also from the visitor side. And so these are investments that I believe that we need to make, and that this plan is going to outline for us how we do that. And so for me, 2020 certainly involves implementing to its fullest extent the recommendations in the cultural plan.
Exactly, and I agree with you totally. The culture and the arts will team together with growth. It will help growth, in my opinion.
It's an integral part of making growth happen and taking advantage of the opportunities that are already here. We just need different alignment. We need, as I said, we need investment that will help grow the arts in the community and to achieve those desired results. There are communities who have done this, who've created these plans and who've done this, and they've seen huge differences, as I said, both on the social side and on the economic development and growth side. And it's our time to get our feet wet and get working on it.
Exactly, and the logo and everything else is part of that. The mayor told me, don't focus on the logo so much, and he was exactly right, because the logo is just an example of the rebirth, and we're moving forward as a community, basically, in growth and everything else.
Yes, absolutely.
Cuts in services or tax increases. The mayor recently mentioned this. What's your feeling as a councillor on either one of those things that I just mentioned? It's early to say. I mean, if you're referring to this upcoming budget, it's really early to say what we would have to do. But as I do believe that we have to learn, just like every family and every household and every business, we have to learn how to do more with less. And more with less doesn't mean cutting things. More with less means changing systems, making investments, as I said, that help us, reduce our costs and help us to maintain services. So, it's hard to say right now what will happen. We're not going to grow unless we invest in this community to help it grow. Absolutely. So, where's that balance? It's hard to say at this point. That's one of the reasons why the public input session in October is going to be very important for people to come out and share their thoughts and say what they'd like to see happening. In a really thoughtful way, both for in the immediate, but also as residents here now, like thinking about the future and how we grow. So I'm really looking forward to that. Exactly. People need to get serious and think that, they say, well, we have no say. Well, on October 3rd, you'll have all the decision makers of the city there, and your comments will be heard. Absolutely. And, I want to put a positive spin on everything, basically. Let's hope that the provincial government has their game together, because I know the mayor and council will, and if there's no waffling, no changes in this process, we may not even have to worry about the cuts in services or a tax increase. Yes, as I said, it's really a little bit gray right now. When we get the proper information, but I think as a community, it's just, regardless of what's happening in the provincial government that's affecting this municipality right now, we owe it to our residents and our taxpayers to figure out how to do more with less. That's right. And so that's our job, in my opinion. You'll always win if you figure out how to do that, regardless of what level you're on. Exactly. Yeah. The city has moved forward very well in the last year, and you brought up a couple of thoughts. We really need to move this effort forward with growth as probably being the number one thing. There's no question. There's no question. Like it's everything that we should be focused on, like with hyper energy. in my opinion, I wish things happened a little bit more quickly. I'm learning to understand though why they perhaps don't. But we have that goal. That goal says 100,000 people by 2037. So that doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't even happen in 5 years, right? I mean, we have to put a lot of energy and effort and strategy and create priorities. Follow this Future Sault Ste. Marie plan. The community's changing already a lot in the last couple of years. I mean, just
I feel, and I've had people say this to me, that there seems to be more energy in general in the community. There seems to be more pride in the community. With some of the things that are happening, you know, this new Plaza downtown, oh my God, how exciting is that? We saw the investment in getting people out and using the splash pad in Bellevue Park. What's happening on Bay Street? Like, these things are actually changing what this community looks and feels like, and these are all things that are a part of growth, and everybody had to fight really hard to find the money and to sustain the vision, to, you know, both the staff and mayor and council to sustain that vision and believe that these things are important and get them done. And there's a few, you know, hurdles here and there, but we've overcome those, and we're going to keep making those strategic investments that are good for our residents, that are to attract people to come here, both to live and both to come and visit.
Oh, I agree. The Plaza needs to happen. If anybody doesn't think so, just take a look at Dundas Square in Toronto and see how successful that is with the Eaton Centre. So, I mean, it does add vibrancy to a city.
Absolutely, and you know, 365 days a year, 250 events, I think it is, over that period of time. I mean, you know, we need to get people out, and that helps our economy. People getting out and enjoying those events. Look what the Downtown Association has done in the last year. Like, I think they're extraordinary. They've latched onto this idea of getting people out. These are things that were recommended by Roger Brooks. They don't come out for nothing. They come out for events, and on a very limited budget, they've put some things together that have been wildly successful, and they're helping to create that vibrancy and change that feeling.
Exactly. In our remaining moments, Donna, let's talk about retail as such. Do you think retail, if you want to give me a brief answer on this, retail limited, or they need to find out how to do things a different way?
I think I mean, you can see now the face of retail has already changed drastically in the last probably 10 years, maybe a little bit longer than that, and it's going to affect this community. People are buying more and more things online. We have to find our niche. Right. We have to attract companies that are perhaps doing retail in new ways. We have to be thinking about people who don't live here now and how they're going to want to shop, you know, and create unique opportunities about it. There's no question that the landscape is changing there, and you know, we need to be smart and ride that wave or get ahead of that curve, and you know, to make it to be a community of the future.
Great. Donna, the show's over. Thank you so much for coming in. It went like a flash. I know. Well, thanks. That's so Andy. Much fun. Thank you very much. And I'll be back to wrap up the show right after these commercial messages.
Welcome to the Machine Shop, our historic venue and gathering place for friends and family. Built in 1899 on the site of a Northwest Company trading post. Today we are a go-to venue hosting many expos, concerts, weddings, and more. While you're here, choose one of our dining experiences. Enjoy a quiet dinner at the Mill Steakhouse and Wine Bar, watch a game and try wood fire oven pizza and local draft at the Boiler Room, or treat yourself every day to gelato and local coffee at the Gelato Mill. For more information on the Machine Shop, visit machineshopinc.ca.
Housed in a 15,000 square foot custom manufacturing facility built to produce world-class cabinetry at surprisingly affordable prices, Great Lakes Fine Cabinetry brings your project from initial concept to final design. Proudly providing Northern Michigan and the Algoma region with quality hand-built cabinetry for the past 20 years. Located at 844 East 3 Mile Road, Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, Great Lakes Fine Cabinetry, making your cabinetry dreams come true.
Welcome back to OnPoint. I'm Andy Martins. Wanted to thank Donna Hilsinger, Ward 3 Councillor, once again. And the sizzle continues this month. Kristen Terminsky will be here on the next OnPoint. Josh Ingram, the Mayor and MP of Sault Ste. Marie and the new City Clerk, later this month. That's it for OnPoint. I'm glad you were here and have a great day. Andy Martins will talk to you soon.